Hello again. Welcome back. Right, 10 years. It's been slightly more than 10 years. It's been 12 years. It doesn't feel that long, eh? How time flies. Anyway, I have done a few bits and pieces, and I'm not finished, so probably what I'll do is I'll finish the bits and pieces that I need to finish as a kind of a time lapse. So, first off, roads. So, I was looking at the Alchester to Keswick bus route, and it was never quite making me money, and I was kind of wondering why that was. So, what I decided to do was I decided to upgrade this whole road all the way between the two. Now, this is the larger road, which has a speed limit of 60. We have these large country roads which have a speed limit of 80. I don't think it makes a difference other than aesthetic. So I think it's okay for them to be this, even though they look to me like they're like unfinished roads bound to be slower. So anyway, so I went through and did all that. Now you may remember that I found out that if you go to settings and you use the magic wand, you can convert without deleting. So I can convert this over to this newer road for that cost if I wanted to. I don't want to. Anyway, because I changed that road, the bus route seemed to make more money. So I did the same between Keswick and Shanklin, and between Shanklin and Ashby de la Zouch, and between Ashby de la Zouch and Dartmouth. So there's now not quite a loop. There's a road missing up to Alchester. So what I'll do is I'll build that in as part of my time lapse, but I'll do it with the other road. And then what I'll do is I'll do a bus route between Dartmouth and Alchester. And then that kind of covers the loop situation. So I've also been having a look at some of these things. So I've managed to get some of these things balanced and some of them not so balanced. As you can see here, we have an abundance of stuff happening at this cargo station, which is just brilliant. The raw materials are coming in. The product is flying around. We've got plastic coming up from way down south, and we've got timber coming in, and all the jizz, bizwang, all the rest of it. Over here hasn't quite balanced out just yet, to be fair. So we are really sort of yeah, we're still working on this one. To be fair to us, we have a shortage of steel at the minute. We've got an overabundance of plastics. So if you have a look in here, actually, this is the plastics over here, this stuff, and this is the steel. So you can see how much you got stored. So we've got an overabundance of plastics, which is fine, and we have the steel, and the steel hasn't quite ironed out, which is what it is. I've been working on that because we've got an overabundance of steel down here. And I'll go and find the steel train. Where is the steel train? It's not that. Oh, it might be because I made it bigger. What are you doing? Shanklin Steel. Yeah, you see? So it was a bit small. Now it's not small. So I have made it bigger. That said, it's that is one of our faster models, but not the fastest model, which is quite expensive. But it is going down here. I still think that on the Shanklin Steel line we only have one. Let me check the vehicles actually. Shanklin Steel, you see, so we only have one, and we could probably really do with two. It's only 2.79 million. That said, we also have this one does 100 kilometers an hour. And I think that's it at the minute. So we could put in a faster one. It nearly triples the maintenance, but I think for the steel we potentially need it. I want to talk to you something to do with about the goods line in a minute. So I think maybe let's modify this one. We will remove that. We will add in that, and we will buy that modification. And then what we will also do is duplicate it. So we've now got 2 running. It's going to cost us a bit of money, but there you go. We kind of need it. We need it for the steel. Now, I went through here and I adjusted this because remember there was a snarl up here because the trains were too long. So basically I added 1 extra length to the platforms. And so that makes it now, what, 100 meters or something. And I moved these out a little bit and I went through all of that. And you will see that I have double lined an awful lot of things. I've turned the signals off because it's crazy, but I'll show you what happens when I turn the signals on, because you get an idea how much double lining there's. There's a lot of signals. There's a lot of signals, which is why I turned them off, because they were driving me crazy. So I double lined this in here. I double lined the logs. I've double lined everything to every station. This one's a bit tricky because we have a number of things, including some crossovers going on. So I had to faff around, and I know it doesn't look like it, but these actually do meet. So I had to do a little bit of a faff, and there's some other crossover lines and everything. This is probably, ironically, the most problematic junction for me to try and figure out how to make work. It's still not perfect by any means. We've still got a single bleeding line coming off here. However, the only train that does this maneuver is the steel train. So, yeah, there you go. It is what it is. The logs come up here, as does the plastics, but we've got an abundance of plastics. So we've freed up the logs a bit. We've done a bunch of other stuff. Everything else is working fine. I have not double lined this bit because we seem to be doing okay. That said, I just recently put an extra train on this line because if you go and have, we've got an abundance of timber, and Keswick, well, it's come up now, it's 70 out of 103, their particular need. So we were definitely short on tools, so I've boosted that a little bit. I've double lined this whole thing out here to Alchester for the food. I put in, as I said, a little cargo place there, and a little cargo place there to help move stuff around. The food is actually mostly on this side, but that's more so for bricks. Talk about bricks in a minute. I didn't. This was already double lined out here, but I double lined everything all the way down here to Shanklin, and all the way through here, and all the way up there to the steel. This one was a bit of a funky one. But it turned out okay in the end, that you can do this kind of knot thing where you can like bleed off and bleed in, and you end up with this kind of system here. This was a bit funky because we have trains coming out of here going around the loop, but also going straight down, as well as we have trains coming up and coming straight in. So that's why I have the points in the center and these 2 points on either side. So trains coming up can come all the way across, and trains coming out from the steel can come all the way across, and it works fine. Just work through it. You know, it seemed complicated, but you just work through it. Double line, bleeding off here. This doesn't need to be a double line because it's really only servicing a couple of trains, which is fine. This is one that I'm going to do in a minute for you while you remain on. Now then, we have to get these finished goods all the way down here to the bottom, to Ashby de la Zouche. So double lining has helped us do that. We also discussed about the fact that they want fuel. So seeing as we're going to run a train down here, I put in this peel off little loop. Now this is a one-way loop, so it doesn't need to be double lined. And the train that comes down here to deliver off the goods also comes in here to pick up fuel to take it all the way back to the top, so it's not a wasted journey. So he has to come all the way down here, may as well go all the way back, and then we're making that train run both ways, essentially fully loaded. Now, this is currently not working as intended, because this line, the I think it's Keswick cargo line. So no, the Keswick to Ashby goods line. So I was under the impression, which apparently I'm wrong. So you start in Keswick, and you can load, which is fine. You have this load option, load if available, full load all, etc. And if you go over here, you've got this option to load. Now, when you select load, you can come down here, and there's an option to change this amount, which is fine. That's for loading, which is okay because we're loading 100%. Now he then goes down to Shanklin Halt because Shanklin Halt needs goods. Now my intention was that while we are here, we could unload 50% and then carry on to Ashby de la Zouch and unload the rest of 50%. But if you go to unload, you don't get that bar. The bar only appears for loading. So I'm not loading. So I don't know what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this at 50% and I'm going to see if it unloads 50%. To me that doesn't seem like it would make sense. But I can tell you that what has been happening is it pulls into Shanklin Halt and it doesn't unload anything. And then it carries on down here and unloads everything. So where is that train with my goods? This is it here. So it's bringing fuel up. So let's run this for a little bit and see. Because the first thing he's going to do is going to drop fuel off at Keswick, which is absolutely fine. Tickety boo, etc., etc. We've got lots of people wanting to get around, which is also fine. Who are you? Keswick Alchester food. Keswick Alchester food. Oh yeah, he's going to the food place. Right. That's the logs. There's our fuel guy. So he's going to go up. He's going to pick up goods. How many goods is he going to pick up? There's only 6 there. Okay, well he'll pick up 6. And then he'll probably wait a little bit. Yeah, there he goes. Now, one of the other things I might encourage you to do is occasionally jump into your train and watch what's happening. Because I jumped into my train and what tipped my mind with changing a few things was that if you have a look at the speed, every time your train passes through a set of points, it slows down, right? So we're currently doing like 45. We're going to hit the open road, so to speak, and we're going to speed up. So we're now clocking along 60, 70, etc., etc. Every time you go through a point, you slow down again, and you end up coming off at about 40, 45 or 50 or 60 or something like that. Where are we waiting? That's the food place. The other thing I found out was when you're in a train, if you use L2, woo, you can go up in the air, and if you use R2, you come down again. I did not know that. And you come right down. I'm under the map. It's all broken. I don't know if it's meant to do that. But yeah. Anyway, here we go. Here we go. You can see in the corner 6 goods. Are we going to unload 3? No, we didn't unload anything. See? So I don't know why, and I don't know how to reset that. So the issue is that means, rather annoyingly means, that you can't partially unload a train, which is weird, isn't it? I mean, There's nothing here to help me, and it's definitely got to be something to do with the line, right? But there's no way to change this level. Like, there's no option to change the unload. Even if I set it, because I was actually worried, pardon me, every time I start, I was worried that they want 43. I was worried we were going to end up overloading Shanklin and Ashby was going to get nothing. As it turns out, Ashby's getting everything, which is not a lot. It's 2, woohoo, because we haven't balanced the steel out yet. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has an answer to that. Do let me know. But I'm going to have to basically run. I'm going to have to change this line, delete the Shanklin stop, and just have it run all the way through. And then I'm going to have to run a single train backwards and forwards to Shanklin. And he can't really help me pick anything up. I mean, I suppose I could have one of my wheat trains pull in here, carry the wheat up to the top, come up to the goods, come all the way back down again. So maybe I could do that with both my wheat. And I could double them so they're not running empty. It's probably the only option I've got. So that's a bit weird. I don't really know why it's doing that. Oil and plastic going well. I think I've made some big trains that are carrying the plastic. They have a capacity of 48. There's 2 of them. So they're delivering nearly 100 at a time, which is why this place is rammed with plastic and why that place is rammed with plastic, which is absolutely fine. We're getting paid for it. So we just need to get the steel going to get the production of goods up. And that's okay. That's something to work on. We put in a faster train. That's Shanklin Raw. Our steel train might already be on the way back. Yeah, so I've made this guy pretty big, the Shanklin steel train, pretty big, that's for sure. And now that we've got 2 of them, that is train 30. Where's train 25 when it's at home? Here it is. Nope. Here it is on the way back to train 25. So he's dropped off. So they've now got quite an abundance of stuff. So they'll work their way through that. But we're going to start cranking out the goods to Ashby de la Zouche, which is fine. So there you go. A few tips and a few tricks, a few things that I've learned along the way. Like I said, sometimes a good idea to take a little ride around in your train just to see what's happening. Oh, I suppose in terms of where we are, I mean, I kind of showed you a little bit. We've advanced a bit, but we still don't have diesel and we still don't have electric just yet. But we've got some bigger containers and bigger things and bits and pieces. I want to go through and start gradually increasing what the trains are carrying so we can make more money. But I have spent a bit money, and I'm going to spend some more. So what I want to do is I want to finish double lining this Ashby de la Zouche line and the bricks line, I think, in preparation for the cargo hub. And I want to run a road from Dartmouth to Alchester. And I want to have a look at vehicles. So in terms of vehicles and things, we've got some people. I've gradually been replacing the post bus with the Gaga now. I think there's not many Landauers left. Might be some, but not many. I think we're pretty much all changed over. I haven't changed people over to the Benz trucks yet for the few cargo places that I have them, which is fine. But again, so we've got a variety of things there. We may even be able to have trams doing the rounds inside the cities. Let me see. I would need to build a tram depot. Let's build a tram depot. It's going to cost me a bit of money. But let's see what it says. Yeah, you see? So we can do electric trams around the cities. So we might start working on replacing some of these internal bus routes with tram routes, and we'll go through how to do that, and we'll do that with probably not Ashby because it's too small yet, probably not Shanklin. I think Alchester's a maybe, but Keswick's definitely a yes. So we could definitely do Dartmouth and Keswick, because the other layer you want to know about is the emissions layer. So there's a few emissions. It impacts growth. It negatively impacts growth. It's mostly off the trains and the industry areas. You can obviously see that, but we want to try and reduce some of those emissions. So the best bet is probably to try and get some of those diesel buses that are local transferred over to electric trams, and we can do trams instead. I think that's about it. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do a little bit of work in high speed to you. It's going to take me ages, but it's going to be high speed to you. And we'll come back and talk about preparing for the future. And preparing for the future for me is this central cargo hub. So I'll crack on and get that done, and I'll see you really in a minute. hello again. Welcome back. Well, there you go. You saw some things going on. Blimey. So, there you go. So, look, we did this dirt road. I think in a minute it really probably... What happened there? Should we fix that? That looks a bit broken. Let's fix that. We'll do it curved. It's alright. We'll do it from there. There you go. That'll probably solve that problem. I think it doesn't make a difference, and I think why it doesn't make a difference is at the minute these buses here travel at 40 kph and they're blasting along at 40 kph. This big road does 40, this does 60, this does 80. So we haven't got vehicles that go full blast yet. I'm quite surprised, given that it's a transport simulator, that the roads don't go higher. But I think that changes with time. So I think as technology increases, we might get slightly different roads and things. So just hold your breath on that one. It's still not even 1920. We haven't even hit the Roaring 20s, let alone the Great Depression. So so yeah, look. So I did some trams in. Which is great. You can do that with, there's a road tool here. You go to tools and you've got the tram track tool and it gives you the option to add tram tracks. If you put a tram track in the wrong place, you can go to catenary no and you can take it away and it's gone again. So there you go. I don't think trams, I think unlike City Skylines where you had to build a turnaround, I think trams just automatically turn in the street. Is there a tram coming? Because most of this is a loop anyway. There it is. No, that's a bus. Where's my little tram? Here it is. So that's what this little tram does, because I think he'll just do a little turn in the street. So he'll pull up here, he'll pick up some people, drop some people off, and he'll go down and he'll do a little whoop. There you go. So there's... Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's the game, and that's fine. I didn't break it. It was like that when I got here. So, anyway, so there you go. So, Dartmouth, going fine. You know, we never got tools down here. We can't get tools down here now because we've got this another line I need to populate. I could pull it off here. So, rather than crowding the bricks. But anyway, because we're going to put a cargo hub in at some point. I've spent a lot of money, so before I might do that. I might do that. We haven't got an industry yet. I might do the tools thing rather simply by just adding a little loop here and run a train. But I need to build up my money because I have hemorrhaged a lot of money, and I tell you what, I have not been keeping an eye on my vehicles. So have a look at some of these. Very bad train condition. Very, very bad. Some things we've just replaced, which is all great. We've got more bads. We've got more bads and more bads and very bads and more bads and more bads and more bads. So naughty on me. Slap on the wrist. That was me slapping my wrist. Promise. I need to upgrade my trains. I need to do a bit more. So I wanted to have a buffer of 5 million and not go below 5 million. I've already been below it. So what I need to do is I need to let this run for a little bit so that I can accumulate a little bit more wealth, because I'm going to have to spend, and these trains are now really expensive. Like, just replacing the locos is like 3 million a piece. So that's really annoying. However, I did adjust the train line here. So this guy coming in is the Keswick wheat. Unfortunately, there's not enough goods here for him to pick up. I still haven't got enough steel coming here, which is a heck of a surprise. So I'm gonna have to increase the steel shipments because it just doesn't seem to be working. Who is this? This is Keswick Tools, which is fine. He's okay. They're all okay. Yeah, I took the other one out so that this truck that's running down here, the Ashby Goods, he's only got one in him. So he's dropping off here. So we need more steel at the minute. because the steel is something of a limiting factor. We do have these 2 trains. They are in very good condition. They have 10 containers. Where are they? They're big trains. Here they are. This guy has got 10 on him, and so's this guy, and it's still not enough. You know, we all want to double these. And each of these trains is an expensive train. I'll show you. We'll go to the vehicle manager, and we'll go to the maintenance. 4.8 million to replace one of these. Yoinksies! So yeah, great. 40 each. They're dropping off, 80, and we're still chugging our way through it. So we need more steel, and that's a problem, because we're going to need at least 10 million just for these puppies. So I have to let this run for a little bit, which I don't like doing, because I maybe it's just me, but it feels like it's eating up time, and I feel like I'm behind. We should really be well into the diesel and electric age, and I feel we're a little bit behind in terms of where we need to be. But that's just me pressuring myself. That's a problem I'm creating for me. That's not a problem in the game. That's just me. So what I need to do is I need to let this run, and I need to start slowly replacing the locomotives in particular that are in bad condition. And when I've got all the locomotives up into good condition, we can talk about forking out for new trains and things. So I'm going to let this run for a little bit, and I'm going to see how far I get, and then I'll bring you in for a last status check before we end this one. I don't want to go too far, so we'll say maximum of 10 years, so 1930. So we'll see how far we've come by 1930. And I'll bring you back then, if not sooner, and we'll do a status check, and then we'll call it there. So yeah, I just need to let this run, so no point in you hanging around, and I'll see you from your perspective. Welcome back. You'll see there's a lot of red at the at the bottom of the page. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we are skating the very bottom of the barrel. We have been in and out of the red a lot. That said, we are gradually replacing stuff. So these road vehicles I'm not touching, because the road vehicles don't cost me half as much as the trains. So we've done some of that. Another road vehicle. We've done some of these have been replaced, which is fine. The Dartmouth oil loop is probably one of the ones that makes me the most amount of money. So I would say when you do end up in a hole like this, what's going to get you out of the hole fastest is probably end product. I think end product makes more money. So I'm just waiting on train 3 to upgrade. Train 3 is going to cost about 1.6 million to upgrade, because I was trying to upgrade for the next good loco as much as I could, but it is expensive. So then I went back to a like for like, but some of these locos have run out of production now. So I have to pick a newer locomotive, which costs a lot more money. So that's one left to do. The oil supply is not in great condition. I just can't. There's so many. In fact, I would say with the oil supply situation, with that, we can probably sell one of those, and we'll drop down to 3. We can always pick up another one, but we've got an abundance of plastics at the minute. Plastics is not the problem, so we don't need to worry too much about supplying a vast amount. In fact, I could say probably even take that one off as well, and that'll get us a little bit of cash, and that'll reduce some of the maintenance on that line till we pick it up again. We had 2 trains on plastic. I got rid of 1 because, again, we had an overabundance. We're unbalanced now because of excess maintenance costs. We can always pick it up again later. That's fine. The intercities I had to replace. I wanted to replace because they're passenger trains. They do make me money, so that's fine. Keswick Ulchester Food is another end product one that I would like to replace on my list of things to do. That might be... I wonder if it's actually replaceable now, because if we move that and add that... No, it's in such a bad condition. It's going to need 232,000 for that one. Keswick Ashby Goods is fine. Don't need to worry about the buses or the cargoes. We've got the Keswick Logs, which are not in great condition. Again, it's not an end product, so it's not high on my list of things to do right now. Keswick Plastic, again, we have a lot of plastic already, so it's not high on my list of things to do. Keswick Tools, this is high on my list of things to do. I've already replaced 1. Need to replace the other. Keswick Wheat Short, again, not high on my list of things to do. Shanklin Steel, I've just no, they're fine. Shanklin Steel Raw, I have replaced those, but I replaced those with a slower locomotive, as it happens, but enough to keep it going. So we had to keep it going because I need to keep the steel supply going. The steel is down here. You see, we're out of steel, essentially, because the steel supply trains haven't been keeping up with the massive, great big these things that are carrying so much steel. So this may have been inadvertently the root of my steel problem, was not that these trains aren't big enough, in as much as I wasn't supplying enough steel. So what I could do is go back to Shanklin Steel, and these trains are now too long, so we could carve these down by, what have we got, 1 2 3 4 5 6. We could take like 4 off there, and that will save us some money. And then we can go in here and we can do the same with this one. 1 2 3 4 off there, and that saves us another little bit of money. And that's fine. That gives us 500,000. These trucks, I think we're all 400,000 to replace the whole bunch. So if I went in here, this is the latest truck, 442. Carries more people. Yeah, okay. So we've replaced all of those. So that'll make us a bit of money. So, yeah, so there you go. So I don't think it's the end by any means. I think we have to tighten our belt and do some things. Roaring 20s, not for me. Quite the opposite. I had my Great Depression in the 20s, not the 30s. So we need to get some of these prime money-making lines really up and running again. So the oil is probably the primary one. Tools, food. So end product. Let's focus on end product, and we'll get end product together. And there we go. So I've got some work to do offline. And hey, I forgot to tell you, planes. We got planes. We have planes. Planes will be something we're going to have to get into. I was thinking cargo airfield, tools, Dartmouth tools, and the tool factory. Doesn't that? I mean, that's long distance, so I reckon that would be pretty good for a plane. I don't know what plane costs are. I haven't even started looking at it, but you know, there's planes that we can get into, which is fine. You know, fuel and goods. We could somehow get an airport down here. We could be picking up fuel and goods from there, and flying them up here. There's fuel and goods. It's a perfect plane route. Pardon me. Get rid of those long distance cargo trains and not have to worry about that, huh? That would be a thing. So there's 2 possible long distance cargo routes we can get planes stuck into. But before we get stuck into that, this all needs balanced out again. It's become very heavily unbalanced, and that's nobody's fault but mine. I took my eye off the ball. I was too busy concentrating on trying to get lines balanced that I forgot that I needed to keep an eye on my maintenance. So you know that's just a lesson to take away: is don't take your eye off the maintenance ball. Like I said, we're skirting around the bottom, but we do keep coming back, which is pretty good. I did take out a bit of a loan, as you can see, and I have repaid some of that loan, and I am working on repaying it. You can see that ticket sales is up and down and up and down, and we haven't finished 1930 yet, but we finished 1929 down a little bit. 28 was down a little bit. 27 was up a bit. So there's room to be had. We're making enough money on the roads, so I'm not worried about the road situation. It's all about the railroads, and it's all about those bad trains. It really is. It's the maintenance of the vehicles. You can see that the maintenance of the vehicles is like up and down, because some of them are not in great condition. So you can see that we've got like some expense issues that have happened over the last little while. Since about 1915. So this is brewing for a little bit while I've been doing some development and keeping an eye on lines and things. So I've not stayed on top of my maintenance, and that's nobody's fault but mine. The overall trend is fine. I don't have a problem with that, and it will come back up again as soon as I get all of the dreadful trains replaced with better trains. And then once we get a bit of a buffer, we can look at the train routes to replace, possibly with planes, like the Keswick routes, Keswick to Ashby routes. We can look at adding in plane routes that are going to make us additional money, and we can balance out the other routes that we need to balance out, and then we can get into the cargo hub. So let's put our cargo hub back a few years. This all takes time, so this could take like at least another decade to all iron itself out. So it could be post-war before we get into getting our cargo hub and stuff together. But then we're setting ourselves up for the into the 70s and the fabulous 80s and the not so fabulous 90s and on into the dreary 2000s. So yeah, still got things to do. Made a bit of a mistake. That's fine. This is why you do it on easy mode, and you learn. If this was on a harder mode, we probably would have run off the edge of the cliff quite severely. As it is, it's a very bumpy downhill across the bumpy terrain. But I think we'll be fine, and I think we'll skate out on the other side perfectly okay. Gosh, how many mixed metaphors could I put in there? Yeah. Anyway. I hope you're enjoying it. It's keeping me on my toes, I tell you that. It's another one of those games. It's just you take your eye off one thing, and gosh, it can bring you down pretty quickly. So yeah, do drop a like, do subscribe to the channel, do click the bell notification, do feel free to drop any hints and tips as what you think might get me out of this hole quicker, and I'll see you all again real soon. Ta-ta for now.
PlayStation